Welcome back to Bobblehead Homestead. I am Jeff. Today is Saturday. It is raining. I'm at the bottom of my driveway and I am on the way to my new place. Let's take off. Since my last video, yakking and driving, did so well, I thought I'd immediately make another one. No, I'm just kidding. The last video did not do well, and this is not going to be a video. But I wanted to, do an intro to whatever ends up happening today. I am headed up to the new place. It is raining. What are you going to do in the rain, Jeff? Well, I'm going to watch it rain. In fact, when I looked at the weather forecast yesterday, they called for rain about 2 p.m. So that's how I set up my schedule. I'd get all my chicken chores done in the morning and get up there around noon for it to start raining, and yeah, that was the whole plan. But as I slept, the weather forecast changed and all the rain came this morning. But I still want to go up there. I need to see that property in the rain or after rain, and look where the water is collecting, where the water's running off, and that's all very, very useful information as I approach putting in a driveway and then getting my shed house there. So, all right, enough yakking. I will get up to the new place and then we'll take a look around. Did I bring my umbrella? Oh, I think I forgot my umbrella. I'm not going back for it. I did bring a change of clothes. All right, see you in a bit. Let's go take a look around. I'm standing on the side of the road right next to my minivan, and you can see where the gravel starts there. So this is where the driveway is going to go, unless I see a major problem right now. My property goes down basically to the end of the hill. There's a little sign down there, but it's going downhill to that point. That's the north, and you can see where water was running. It's not raining right now, but not a lot of water coming along the road, so that's a good sign. And then right past this pile is where the south border of my property is. So I'm going to walk in here and see if this is going to be a good spot for a driveway, and I can already tell it is. Got to move that big thing, but with heavy machinery coming, that'll be no problem. Plenty of space in between these trees, and yep, right here we get a little bit lower spot and I see a puddle, one little puddle. I just oh yeah, more puddles. And you can see there, that's in a tire track. So that's a low, this is a lower spot too. There's some soggy ground there. So with that heavy machinery, what we're gonna have to do is fill this up. We're gonna have to bring in some dirt and raise this up a little bit, and then think about how to handle the water runoff coming from that direction. Probably looking at this now, I think I need another culvert under the road right here, or the driveway right here. I think I need a culvert at the road and then another culvert here in the driveway. Better safe than sorry, and better do it now rather than spending double the money and doing it later. And I can see there's kind of a path, so right here is where a culvert should go. Good deal. So about a few feet past that tree, and then about 2/3 of the way in between the electric pole and that tree. So right in here is where we're gonna want another culvert. All right, yeah, bring in dirt to fill up this spot, put a culvert in there, and then it gets a little bit higher here. So I think we're good, except for there's a big hole there that needs to be filled out. And then probably dig out these tree stumps and that tree stump. And then right in there, there's a little dip and probably fill in that. I'll probably run the gravel all the way through here to the back of the shed to house. And I'll probably have another little gravel drive, you know, at the end. So the driveway would end right in front of that stack of trees. And I'll have the heavy machinery get rid of those stumps also. But yeah, so I think driveway's still a good deal. And that's what Jeff and Leanne helped cut down, were these two groups. And they left them high like that on purpose so that we can get them out and the stumps along with them. All right. I wish it was raining so I could see, you know, the runoff as it happens, but this is better than nothing. Yeah, a neighbor came by, and so I talked to him and I asked him about the rain. He hadn't checked his gauge, but he said they got a downpour last night and they got another downpour this morning. So I'm very happy with this property right now, because if it was, you know, sitting under an inch of water, I might be a little hesitant thinking that I bought a swamp. But I did not buy a swamp. That first property that I bought here in Arkansas, my original place, that turned into a swamp after every heavy rain. Not the whole thing, but a good portion of it did. Okay, I'm gonna go, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'll let you know when I figure it out. This is the area where the shed house is gonna go, partially over the burn pile there, and in front of those stumps, and we'll get those stumps out. And then this is basically the southern property line. Got a bunch of camp firewood and firewood ready to go. And then we're swinging around back to the lane, I guess I can call it. And then from my minivan through the trees into here is where the driveway's going. I was just talking about that. And so what I think I'm going to talk about now is what I'm hoping to do with the heavy machinery. And I'll probably give away what kind of heavy machinery is coming, but that's all right. That is all right. So, yeah, I don't know if you can tell. There's kind of a high point right in there on the ground, and then it lowers down a little bit, and then there's a bump up to the road. So I'd like to level all of that out. So that means bringing in dirt and filling that in, and then filling it in from the high point there, putting a culvert here, and that'll require a ditch, and then right up in here is where the other high point comes to. And so bringing in a bunch of dirt and filling it into here to level it out. And then we'll need a little bit more dirt to bring into this area and those stumps. All right, so that means bringing in dirt, well, where is it gonna come from? Yeah, let's go check out my ideas for that. Look at all this brush, look at all that brush. If I were to dig holes, big holes, and move that dirt, then what do I put in the big holes? Well, that is what I put in the big holes. And that is what I put into the big holes. So, hugel culture is the solution for my problem. My problem is I need more dirt on the driveway to level it out. And so I can get the dirt, but then I got a big hole, and then the problem is I got a big hole, and the solution is stumps. All right, so where am I going to build this hugelkultur? I've got to be, I think, 20 feet away from the electric lines, which is about where these trees are. So like right in here, and going back to my, all the way on the other side of this, I can start digging giant holes to use the dirt to fill in my driveway. Yeah. And then what do I do with the giant holes? I have the heavy equipment operator fill them up with this all this junk in here, and kind of get it out of my way. And then I won't explain who. Yeah, I will. Hugelkultur is you bury, organic material, trees, stuff like that, and it'll create a little bit of a mound, not that much. You bury it and then you cover it with, a good 6 inches of topsoil, and it'll break down over time, but in the meantime it'll absorb water. And so during the summer months, during a drought, you'll still have a moist subsoil for whatever plants you're growing on it. You can grow all kinds of plants on it. I'm thinking, like sunflowers and buckwheat and stuff that the chickens will eat, corn, and yeah, you can grow all kinds of stuff on hugel mounds. So, and I can have some pretty big hugel mounds with all this material here, and I got more of it. House is going there. I got more of it on the front of the property out here, and well, we're still in negotiations, but there might be some discount. But anyway, oh yeah, pretty purple flowers. They're free. All right, so that's one area, and I can do that again. I can steal some soil, some dirt from this area, and then bury all that junk. And then I got another pile down there. I can steal material and bury all that junk. It just depends on how much, how big, how much dirt we need and how big the holes are as to how much of this might get buried. But the first thing will be, digging the holes and getting this driveway all leveled out. And then I'm probably gonna put a driveway cloth on it and then have gravel delivered. All right, so that's my first dream for heavy machinery. Digging big holes, moving the dirt to the driveway, getting it leveled out, and that's probably the most important thing. The next thing will be getting out some stumps and stuff, and probably filling in those holes. And then septic. So I need, I'd have to look it up. Anyway, you got to dig one big hole for the tank, and then you got to dig some trenches for the runoff lines. And I think the septic will go in this direction. The shed to house will be basically in there. I'm just saying somewhere in the vicinity of the burn pile, the shed to house, and so the septic will go in this direction. And right behind this wood pile is my southern property boundary, just a little ways past that. So I'd like to finish clearing out the small stuff, not these big trees. Like you see those green ones, that means keep it. And not the big trees, but the small brush I'd like to get cleared out in there. Up to there's a ravine back there. And so this isn't very far. We'll see the ravine in a minute. Yeah. Try not to trip on all the cords. And we'll walk back to the ravine real quick. So starting here, I don't know, that's 20 feet or so of pretty thin stuff that the heavy machinery can get. And then boom, we are at the ravine. So gray water from the house. I run a trench out here, and yeah, That's the plan for the gray water. Now this ravine does not go all the way across my property. So down there it flattens out, so I can get on the other side of this ravine without building a bridge, get to the back of the property. And then we're looking north now again. And I'd leave the big trees, like that's a big pine tree, there's another big pine back there. But the small stuff like this in front, I'd like to clear all this smaller stuff up to, oh, here's a pine, up to about this size. This one I'll keep. Anything smaller than about this size, I would ask the heavy machinery to get rid of. And then, yeah, clear all of the small stuff out of here. And we're looking back towards where the shed house will be. And back towards the driveway. So the heavy machinery getting back to that ravine, which isn't very far. And then, all right, the ravine was right there. And then clearing, what is this, to the west in this direction. And then let me walk over here, where this is where I'd been doing some clearing. And yeah, so I'd have the heavy machinery start back there at the ravine and then work their way this way. And you can see a lot of smaller stuff. And then we're out to facing towards the road now. This is another campfire, firewood pile. The burn pile is basically where the house is going. So I still want to leave a buffer. There's a big pine tree. Yeah, anyway, I want to keep that big pine tree, but then clear around it into here and clear into here with the heavy machinery. This is another higher spot that is relatively level. Not a big enough level spot for my shed to house, but it would be big enough and level enough for a storage shed and for a RV spot. So I'd also like the heavy machinery to clear out all around. There's a giant pine tree back there. So almost all of this stuff. There's I don't know, there's one big tree there. We can work around that. But all of this smaller stuff would just get cleared out. And yeah. And then keep working in this direction. We're pointed north, so work in this direction towards the north north part of my property. And then head east. At least try to blaze a trail from the front of the property to the back of the property. So, you know, not clear the whole thing, but, you know, maybe if we can get a 10-foot wide trail so that I can get to the back of the property. So that would be another goal with the heavy machinery. And, all right, dreaming out loud on a rainy day. I'm back out here under the power lines and looking where the driveway is going to go. Driveway. Power lines and shed to house there. And then now we're looking to the north. I don't know, a little bit that way, but anyway. So these are the power lines, 2 residential power lines. And then that the big pine tree I was trying to point out is this one right there. So this is from a view from the power lines into there, and you can see a lot of material to get cleaned out of there with the heavy machinery. So that'll open up nicely, just getting rid of that stuff. And then I could do another hugel culture in this direction. But this is that big pine tree that I want to clear out around for a storage shed and an RV spot. This is a little bit higher ground too, so that's nice. And then not too many big trees. Save all the bigger ones. And same in that direction. There's one big tree sticking up, but not much else. So keep clearing down towards my property line ends, right around that electric pole, wherever that electric pole is. So yeah, have the heavy machinery clear up the clear around the big pine tree, and then going north in that direction, clear the small stuff. I don't know, maybe 50 to 100 feet wide, and then one path going to the back. All right, and that's my heavy machinery dreams. Clear as much of the small stuff as possible. I'd love to have over 2 acres of the small stuff cleared, leaving the big trees in for the chickens, and I'd love to have a path going all the way to the back of the property. We'll see how long all that takes, and whether or not I can bankroll it. All right, I'm gonna stop for a minute and figure out what to say next. That right to the right of that tree, I don't know if you can see the little post there, but that is the northwest corner of my property. There's a little creek behind it and a culvert going under the lane. And so my property line goes right along there. This is a pretty big hill. It looks like gravel has been brought in, because I don't think that is natural. Probably came in with electric lines, but some type of path has come through here next to the electric lines. But I've just discovered that this pile is mostly cedar, and that's a pine, but that's a big old cedar too. But so it looks like whoever was doing this made a big old pile of cedar, and there is definitely some big enough to be posts, fence posts, or whatever kind of posts. So yeah, I can salvage a lot of this. And I was also thinking that this would be a good garden plot area, not the entire garden, but good garden plot. I can maybe get 20 feet by 40 feet and do something like sunflowers or corn or some big patch, combination of a few things, and be something that I can stop and visit when I'm going down my driveway. But all this area seems to be relatively dry and drivable, so that's a good thing. Right where I'm pointing this burn pile would probably be the best spot for a driveway as far as having to fill in. This is all high ground, but you hit this cedar and those trees. So if I were to make this the driveway, I'd have to get rid of all those trees in there and all the down trees, all the cedars. And then on the other side of that, you can see the road there. I'd have to put a big culvert or two culverts. But I think it would probably need less soil or dirt brought in to level it out. I don't know. We'll have the heavy machinery guy look at it. It might turn out that this is the easiest spot to build a driveway, because this is a high ground and it's all pretty level, and some of it is already graveled, and then it would go right in there, and you can see right into where the shed house is going. And then this is where the storage shed and that big pine tree. So the storage shed RV in that area. All right, I'm keeping the driveway options open. And then this front stuff, you know, I want to leave a good 20 feet of it as a buffer. But then behind that, have the heavy machinery take out a good stretch of it down to the property line. I know I'm repeating myself over and over. This is exciting. This is exciting. All right, let's look at the alternative driveway from the road. Yeah, that road needs to be repaired. I'll have my heavy machinery guy look at it. And then, yeah, you can see where the water's going down there in that ditch. I definitely need a big culvert, maybe, you know, 2 culverts right there. And then you can see the other side of that cedar pile. But not all of those trees all the way down, but probably this first group of trees would have to go. But put a culvert in there, and then the dirt to level that out from the road, maybe a little bit uphill. And then, yeah, and then back in there. So that might be the second spot. I don't know, probably just as much work. Where would I get the dirt to fill in to level it out? I guess I could get it right in the area of this tree here in front. Right around in there, dig a big old hole, and then I got a bunch of material right there to fill in the hole with. And then that dirt doesn't have to go far over here. All right, so that's still alternative driveway number 2, but I think number 1 might be easiest. Although, what do I know?